Hello people, welcome to another tutorial. My name is Agnes. In today's tutorial, I will show you how I made this plaid cardigan. I used basic stitches, the extended single crochet, the slip stitch, and for the ribbing, I used the front post and back post stitches. I chose the colors white and black, but you can use any color that you prefer. You will be able to make this in your size, doesn't matter, extra large, small, XXL. It is based on shoulder to shoulder measurements. So as long as you have your shoulder to shoulder measurements, you should be able to make this following the instructions that I will give you. And yeah, that's it. So please subscribe to my channel. And we are just going to go straight into the tutorial, and this is what I will be using. Tape measure, of course, to take our measurements, because this is very important to make this in your size. We need scissors. For the yarn, I used acrylic yarn. This is Volley-Do from Amazon, and it's 50 grams each. 133 meters. I used 3 of the black and 10 of the white. You can use any other DK yarn depending on the weight that you want. It recommends 3.5 to 4.5 millimeter hook, but I will be using 4.5 millimeter hook for this DK size yarn. Okay, we are going to work this cardigan like this. We'll start with the back panel. It goes all the way up and then goes all the way down with the front panels without cutting it off. And then we will be working these stripes that go sideways. And once we are done with that, then we'll work with the vertical stripes. And once we're done with that, then we will work on the sleeves and then the ribbing. So let's start with the back panel. For the back panel, we're going to be working multiples of 8 plus 6 chains. Multiples of 8 means a number that you can divide by 8 and still get a whole number. So for example, 72, then plus 6 chains. But this is not what I used. I don't remember the number, but just do that until you have your shoulder to shoulder measurements plus 2 inches. Okay. So my shoulder to shoulder measurements for the extra small is 15 inches. So if I add 2 inches, I'll make a chain of 17 inches in multiples of 8 plus 6. Doesn't mean it will be exactly 17 inches. It could be more or less because we are working in multiples, but it should be around that length. Please make sure your chains are very loose, not tight at all. Make them loose. As you can see, it went past 17 a little bit. It could be less, it could be more, depending on your number of chains. Then, to start on row 1, we are going to add a turning chain because we need to turn our work. So we will add 1 chain. For example, if you had a total number of, 78 chains, now you'll add 1 to make 79, and then you'll skip the first chain that you added and make an extended single crochet. And this is how you make an extended single crochet. You pull through 1, then you have 2 loops, and then pull through all the 2 loops. So go into the next chain, pull through 1, and then you have 2 loops, then pull through the 2 loops. Insert your hook, pull through, you have 2 loops, right? Then pull through 1 and then pull through 2. So this is the extended single crochet. I also discovered it a few days ago. So in case you're seeing this for the first time, you are not the only one. There's so many stitches out there that we really don't know. So you are going to do extended single crochet all the way to the end of the chain, and I will meet you there so that we can finish the row and start on row 2. So make sure your foundation chain is loose and not tight, otherwise your work will be like small at the bottom, and once you start doing the extended single crochets, and it will be big on the top, so it doesn't make sense. Okay, here is where I meet you. So this is my row 1. This is how it looks like, and as you can see I did extended single crochets all the way. Yeah, that's how it looks like, and it is not tight. It's not tight. Okay, don't make your work so tight. So we are going to row 2 and we're going to chain 1, and then we will turn our work, and in this first space you see here, yeah, under those 2 loops you see that space, you will work an extended single crochet. You'll go into the next space. It's clear there. We're working into that space. Under the 2 loops, you'll make an extended single crochet. And basically, this is going to be your pattern for row 2. So work extended single crochets in every stitch until you get to the end of this row. I will meet you there so that we can finish the row and start on row 3. So I'm coming to the end of row 2, and this is going to be our last stitch. Please make sure you're going to these last 2 stitches. Under those 2 loops, that's where you'll make your last stitch, okay? When you turn, you see. So don't miss that out, otherwise your work will not be straight. So we'll make an extended single crochet there, and we will chain 1, then turn our work to start on row 3. So same pattern, we are going to make our extended single crochet in this first stitch, and we are going to do extended single crochets in every stitch until we get to the end of the row, and it's basically the same pattern. And we want to do this until we have 6 rows before we change color. Okay, so it is 6 rows and then we change color, and then we do 2 rows of I do 2 rows of white and then change color, okay, with the slip stitches. So I'll work extended single crochets until I'm coming to the end of row 6, and then I will meet you there so that we can change color. Okay, 6 rows. So I'm coming to the end of row 6. As you see, this is 5 and this is the 6th that I'm on, and I will finish this. This is an extended single crochet, and to change color we will not complete this. Once we have 2 loops on the hook, then we will take our other color. Mine is going to be black. I know people don't like when you shoot with black, but it's just a few, basic stitches like the slip stitch, so you don't need to see so much, and you can also still see anyway. So we are going to make slip stitches, right? So I'm going to go into this very first stitch here and make a slip stitch. Please, please, please make it as loose as you can, otherwise it will crunch your work and it will not be nice. So loose slip stitches, very loose, okay? So we are making slip stitches in every stitch. Loose ones, these are not tight. Okay, slip stitch all the way to the end of the row, and I will meet you there so that we can do the next step. So this is the first way of how we are doing this, and then the vertical stripes will be different. So I'm at the end, and this is how it looks like. So we are going to do both sides. So this is going to be my last one, and then I'll chain 1, then turn my work, and I'm going to do slip stitches all the way. So in between these spaces is where we are working. we are working into the same space like we did on the other side, in between the stitches. Okay, and we are working single crochet, slip stitches that are not tight, they are loose all the way. So placing your hook between the stitches in that space, work slip stitches in every space until you get to the end. So we have a double situation going on here. All right, so I'm come to the end, okay, and this is going to be my last one, my last slip stitch, and now I want to change color, so I'll go back to the white. So chain the one with the white, okay, and then chain one just to have the turning chain. So we are now going to work the extended single crochets. So you'll turn your work and you see these first two loops here, that's where you will work your extended single crochet. The first stitch is going to be a little bit hard to get into, but it's all good. So going to the next two loops, under the two loops, that's in between the two loops and in between the slip stitches that are in black, that's where we are working our extended single crochets. It's clear when you see it where you're working. Make sure you're not taking the black yarn with you. Okay, I'm using black, whatever color you're using. Be careful, don't do it like that. Only under the two loops. So you are going to do extended single crochets all the way to the end, and I will meet you so that we can finish off that row and then start on the next. Okay. So I've come to the end, and these are going to be my last two stitches. The last one, you see those two loops there, they are not so visible, but it is there. You have to work in that. Okay. Nice and easy. Yep, got it. So this is going to be our last one, and then we are going to do our second row of the extended single crochet. So we are doing 6, then 2, 6, then 2. So now just another row of extended single crochets like before. You know how to start this. And we are going to work in every stitch until we get to the end, and then we'll do the slip stitches again. This is if you want to do, 2. Maybe some you want to do 3 rows of slip stitches. You could, but I just wanted 2. Okay, so now we are coming to the end, and this is going to be a half, so that we can change color. So I'll get this black now to finish off. Not tight, just loose enough. Then I'll chain 1, turn work, and I will do slip stitches. So I'll go into this very first one, make a slip stitch, go into the next space, make a slip stitch all the way to the end. Slip stitches in every space between the stitches until the end. So I'm coming to the end, and this is going to be my last slip stitch. Then I'll chain 1, turn my work, and I will work slip stitches all the way back to the other side. So from the first stitch, I'll make slip stitches in between those stitches in every space until the end where I had started. Okay, and I will see you once I get to the end. So I'm coming to the end. This is my last stitch, and I'm going to go back to the white, and at this point you can cut the black because you're going to work 6 rows and you don't have to pull it all through. It's like impossible. So we cut the black, and we are going to chain 1, turn our work, and work extended single crochets right from that very first stitch. This is our first extended single crochet. Going to the next stitch, extended single crochet, and I'm going to work extended single crochets for this row, and once I'm done with this row, add another next row until I have a total number of 6 rows, and then I can change to slip stitches again. So it's going to be a repeat of these 8 rows. So it's 6 rows, then we do the change of color, and then work 2 rows, do the second change of color, and then now repeat 6 rows, change of color, 2 rows, change of color, 6 rows, like that until you get to the height that you want. So 6 rows, black, 2 rows, black, 6 rows, black, 2 rows, black, until you get to the height that you want of the cardigan. This is up to you. You can make it short, you can make it long. All right, so this is what I did, and I did 28 inches. I wanted it longer, you know, like up to like very long, but then I got so tired of doing it, so I decided to be that short. So you can add more inches if you want it long, or you can do a few inches if you want it short. Totally up to you. Now we want to do the neckline and the front panels, okay? So what we'll do is we are going to measure the top. It's 18 inches. It added a few, maybe half an inch. Doesn't matter. So we want the neckline to be 4 inches. So 18 minus 4, we remain with 14. So if the neckline is 4 and the rest is 14, we'll divide by 2. That means 14 divided by 2 is 7 inches. So one side will be 7 inches, that's one front panel, and the other front panel will be 7 inches too on this side, and what we have remaining in the middle as the neckline is 4 inches. So do your math, okay? It's whatever you have minus 4, what is remaining, divide by 2. And as you can see, I went and put stitch markers because I measured 7 here and then counted all the stitches that I had on one side, then counted them on the other side also. Put a stitch marker here first of all, then counted them on the other side, put a stitch marker there so that we have the same exact number of stitches for the front panels, and what was left in the middle should be about 4 inches, right? Okay, so as you can see where I ended my rows, I have only 3 in white, so I will do the 3 other in white, and then before I change to black, so that is 6 rows. Okay, so I'm just going to now work on one front panel first. So we turn our work, and I'm going to do my extended single crochets until I get to where I have my stitch marker. Okay, I hope you got the math. It's simple math. It's your back panel measurements minus 4, whatever you have remaining, divide by 2. So each front panel is that, and what you have in the middle is just 4 as the neckline. So meet you here. So I went all the way to where I have my stitch marker. I left the stitch marker there, and then chained 1, turned my work. So I'm now only working one front panel. Okay, and this is my 5th row. So I'm going to go back with the extended single crochets until I get to the end of the row. Okay, and I'm going to just keep repeating this. We already know this until I have 6 rows so that I can change. It's the same pattern, just now smaller. So keep doing that. Once I get to the end here, I went all the way back. Now I have 6 rows because I already had 3 on the back panel. Now I have 3 on the front panel. So now I need to change color. Okay. And I am going to change this color here to black and then work the slip stitches. Same pattern, just a different panel. Okay, so I work my slip stitches all the way to the end. Okay, once I get here, work my slip stitches all the way back. Okay, so it's just, I don't want to show everything because it's already recorded this when we started. So just continue the same pattern all the way until you have the same number of rows as your back panel. Once you are done, then you'll do the other side of the front panel. Okay, and that will be it. So far I'm done with one of my front panels, and this is how it looks like. And now I'm done with my other panel, and this is how it looks like. So they are just identical. So if you started from here to here, then this you'll start from here to the other side. Or if you started from this side to the middle, then you start from the middle to this other side when you reattach your yarn for the second panel. Okay, so this is how it looks, and yeah, that's it. And now we are going to do the vertical lines. Okay, we need to do the vertical lines in black because that's what I'm using. Depends on what color you're using. And yeah, it's not so complicated. So we will be using a different technique. It's the same, it's slip stitches, just a little bit different. So I had to try it first because, you know, I did 2 lines. This is how it looks all the way from the back to the front, and then from the front to back down. Okay, I needed to see how to do it, and then I can show you. So we are leaving 6 spaces here, and now the 6th, so it's between the 6th stitch and the 7th stitch. So this is 1 2 3 4 5, and in that space that is between the 6th stitch and the 7th stitch. Okay, I'm just going to work down here with a different color so that I can show you how to start when you're starting on the other side of the border. So you leave 6 stitches and you'll work between the 6th stitch and the 7th stitch in that space. So this is how you will start because I already started mine. Okay, so for you, you will start from here, then count 6 spaces, and into the 6th space, that's where you will start. Okay, I'm just going to show you how you start it because I didn't record. I was just, you know, trying it out. So 1 2 3 4 5 6. In that 6th space is where you will insert your hook like this, and then this is your yarn, and you will pull from below. So watch me, like this, and then you pull like this, right? And then you'll go into the next space that is up, you know, and don't make them tight, please, loosely. You see these spaces? This is where we are working. So I'll go in and I'll put my yarn below and just pull it through like this, like a slip stitch, only that we are pulling the yarn from below. Okay, so it is loose because these are rows, like they are long rows. So I will hold my yarn like this from below, then I can always feed it to the hook. Like I go in, I can feel my hook below and then feed to the hook and then just pull through. Go in and pull enough so that it's not tight. You can always feel the hook on your finger. My yarn is between my 2 fingers, so I'll just, you know, when you come to this side, just go over it like this when you come to this stripe that is going across. And always count so that you know you're not going into the wrong space. You could go into the 7th space if you're not careful. So we'll go all the way up like that. Now I will use my black yarn. So since I'm already with these 2, now I need to skip 6 spaces. So I'll just slip stitch my way to my 6th space because I don't want to cut my yarn. So we will just slip stitch like this. And I'm going to work, then chain 1, and I'm going to work slip stitches all the way to the top, and I will show you how you handle the top when you get to the top and you need to skip 2. So put my yarn below and I will just keep pulling like this. And I am struggling because this is my 3rd row. I've never done this stitch. I'm just doing it for the first time. So just know that you do a few rows and then you get a hang of it. You know, it becomes easier. You kind of, you know, I discovered that when I turn it and I'm working downwards, it's easier for me. So it will be different for everybody. You'll just, with a few tries, you will, you know, find a way that you can do it quicker and faster for you. Just like I did. Within a few, I don't know, after 4 or 5 lines, I was way quicker. So just find a way that works for you. I'll meet you at the top. We'll just go like this, same thing. Put your hand in there, your yarn between your fingers, and just keep pulling through in every space. Once you get to this horizontal line, then you skip over it. Just go over it like that, and continue to do this until you get to the top of the back row, back panel, and then go straight down to the front panel until the bottom, and I will meet you there. So I came all the way from up there to the bottom, and now we need to make our second one, right? So we are going to finish this off with a chain 1 and then work 2 slip stitches, 1 and 2, and then chain 1, and we are going to go down with our second space. So it's 2 stitches in between, so we are working in between the second stitch and the 3rd stitch. If you're talking about spaces, it is the 2nd space. So we are going to slip stitch all our way down. Make them loose, okay? 1, 2, into the second one. That's why we are slip stitching. Just like we did with our horizontal stripes. So it was like 6 rows and then black, and then 2 rows and then black. So now it is the same. It's 6 stitches, black, 2 stitches, and then black, like that. So that's why we had a multiple of 8, because we have 6 and then we have 2, which makes it 8. And then 6 and then 2, 6, 2, like that. So you're going to do all this all the way to the bottom of the back panel, and I will meet you there so that I can show you how to slip stitch the 6 once again. Okay. I'm at the bottom, and we want to skip over to the 6th space so that we can work our way up. So what we'll do is, once we get here, you are going to chain a 1, then just at the bottom here you will work 6 slip stitches in the next 6 stitches. It's 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and then you chain 1, and since we will start now working our way up, but since I like to work downwards, then I will just turn my work like this so that I'm working downwards. So we'll slip stitch all the way up into from the 6th space. So between stitch 6 and 7 there is that space. If you're counting the spaces, it is the 6th space. So that's how I'm holding my yarn under there, just with 2 fingers, and I just in the middle, like they are not, my fingers are not closed, so I pick it from the middle of my fingers, those 2 fingers. Okay, so and basically this is just going to be it. You'll go up and down until you are done. I'll just show you a few clips of my progress as I go. Yeah. So this is me after I'm done with my front panel, one of the front panels. Yeah, that's how it looks like so far. Now I will continue, and this is me after I'm done with both panels and the whole back. I'm excited, yay, progress. So just go on and do everything. And now we are going to do the sleeves. So for the sleeves, as you can see, I have 2 sleeves. I'll just show you how I did the sleeves because it's the same pattern. So for the sleeves, I took measurements that's around my upper arm plus 3 inches. So around my upper arm is 10 plus 3 is 13. But since we are doing multiples of 8, it could be over your measurements or before your measurements. It could be 13 and a half, it could be 14, or it could be 12, depending on your measurements. And for the length, I did from tip of my shoulder to my wrist, and for me that is 19 inches. Okay, so measure around your arm, that's your biceps, and then from the tip of your shoulder to your wrist. Those are the measurements you need. Okay, for the foundation chain, it is a multiple of 8 plus 6, like we did with the back panel. Okay, so but with your upper arm measurements. Okay, and once you fold it, you know, this is how it looks like. You will do 2 of these sleeves. Okay, and once you fold it, you see I have about 6.5 inches. So the overall is about 13 inches. Okay, so do your sleeves, 2 of them, and then we'll come and do the verticals also. Same pattern. It is the same pattern, just different measurements, a smaller piece. Okay, so this is me, and we are going to join this sleeve together. So what do? We'll turn it on the wrong side. This is where we want to join it. Okay, and I'm going to join along using the white yarn. So I'll use my primary color, reattach it here at the bottom, and I'm working on the wrong side. You see the thin lines, those are on the wrong side. We are working on the wrong side. Okay, so we'll reattach our yarn here at the bottom, and we are going to work slip stitches all the way to the top. So reattach your yarn and slip stitch in every stitch. Make sure everything is aligned. The blacks are in line, not crooked, right? And then go into every stitch with a slip stitch all the way to the top. Slip stitch in every stitch. You're going to do this until you get to the top. I'll see you there. So I'm done, and you are going to cut your yarn off and then pull through. So we are going to now change this to the right side. So turn it inside out like this. We are now going to work on the right side, and we will use black to just go all along. So before you do the joining, please sew in your ends so that you're not struggling like me. Like if I sewed in my ends, these wouldn't be in my way at all, because it's harder to sew them in once you have everything joined. So sew them in before you join. So get your black, and we are going to slip stitch all the way to the bottom to have that line that is black. Okay, what am I doing here? Because this doesn't work. This should be inside. Okay, so pull from the inside and then all the way to the bottom. There's a lot of scrap yarn behind that I should have sewed in before I joined, so it's really getting in my way, so don't do that. Sew in everything before you start joining. So go all the way to the bottom along this line that we joined, and I will meet you at the end. So this is my sleeve. You are going to go ahead and do your second sleeve, and once you have the two of them, then we'll join them. As you can see, I already joined one to the sweater, and I am going to show you how I did that on this other side that is still undone. Okay, so let's do that. So what you'll do first is you'll measure the top of your sleeve that you want to join to the cardigan. Okay, mine is 7 inches, the bottom was 6.5, doesn't matter. So this is where I want it to join to the cardigan. So you are going to make the same measurements from where you join the front panel and the back panel. This line here in the middle here, I will measure 7 stitches from here, right? 7 inches, sorry. 7 inches to the back panel and 7 inches to the front panel. So I know that 7 inches are up to here. This is 2 rows from this third block. 1, 2, this third block, 2 rows above it, right? And then it will be the same on the other side. So because we want to leave this, we want to use the same number of rows. So this 2 block, 2 rows from the third block. Okay, so I have 7 inches on the front side and 7 inches on the back side, and we are going to put stitch markers. Okay, so I'll put my stitch marker here so that we know where we will leave our armhole, and I'll put my other stitch marker on this side, same number of rows. So that is done, and then I'll turn my cardigan inside out so that we can join it together. So the right side is in the inside and the wrong side is on the outside. We are joining from the wrong side. So we'll join all the way from the bottom to where we have our stitch markers. So from here is our stitch markers, and we join the rest of it, and we leave this armhole here. So let's join, and to join we are going to be using slip stitches, and I will use my primary color, which is the white. So I will reattach my white at the bottom, and then I'm going to work slip stitches all the way to where I have my stitch markers, which will leave me with only the armhole. So work your slip stitches all the way up. Everything should be straightened out so that your blocks are not misplaced. They are in line. All the way to stitch markers here. I'll meet you there. So I'm up to where my stitch markers are. This is it, and I have my armholes here. So now I'm going to get my sleeve. Okay, you see the other one is on the wrong side and my sleeve is on the right side. Wrong side, right side. Okay, understand that? So I'll insert in my sleeve. My sleeve is on the right side while this is on the wrong side. Okay, I insert in my sleeve in the middle of that armhole like this. Okay, so you see it? All right, so this is how we are going to join it. I'm just going to slip stitch all around the armhole together with my sleeve. Okay, of course leaving the hole in the sleeve. Don't join 4 parts. We are only joining 2. Okay, so slip stitch all around in every stitch like this. Sew in your ends before you join anything. It was not smart of me to sew in everything before I join. I mean to join before I sew in everything. It's getting in my way all the time. So don't be like me. Do it the smart way. So I will just go all around until I come back to where I started, and I will meet you there. So I'm back and I have turned this inside out. Of course, once you get to the part where you started, cut off your yarn, and now I've turned this inside, the right side out, and we want to work the black part around where we joined. So I have my black yarn underneath, and I'm just going to work slip stitches all around from the underarm all the way to the top, and then down back to the underarm where I started. Okay, so work those slip stitches on the right side. So once you get to where you started after working all the way around, once you get to where you started, then you will continue to work all the way down this line also where you joined in black, and I'll meet you there. I'm done, and this is how it looks like. Do the other sleeve too on the other side, and once you're done with both, it should look like this. So now we'll work the ribbing around it. For the ribbing, I'll start from the bottom. At the very bottom, reattach my black yarn, and I'm going to make double crochets in every stitch. Okay, so I'm going to chain 2. In this very first stitch, I will make a double crochet. Go into the next stitch, make a double crochet. Into the next stitch, I will make a double crochet, and I'm working double crochets in every stitch. This is how it looks. I'm going with these slip stitches that I had for this row. This is how I know where to place my double crochets, and I'm going to go all the way around to the top, around the neckline, and all the way down until the bottom. Once I'm at the bottom, go all the way at the bottom in every stitch until I'm back to where I started at that corner, and then I will meet you there. Okay, down here. Alright, so I went all the way around and I'm back here, and I want us to place 3 double crochets in this stitch here. For at the bottom corners, we'll be placing 3 double crochets just so that we don't have a very crunched corner. Okay, so we start on row 2 and we are going to make front post and back post. So this first stitch I'll go in with a front post, and then the next will be a back post. Next is a front post stitch, and next is a back post stitch, then a front post stitch and a back post stitch. So it's going to be just a repeat of front post and back post. You will go all around, and I'll meet you back when you're here where we started the row 2. I am back, and now I'm going for row 3. So the end of row 2, this middle stitch, I will insert 3 stitches just to make it round and nice, so that it's not folding or anything. So 3 stitches in the middle stitch, these are the bottom corners. And now I will do row 3. So you're just going to repeat. Where you have a front post, you do a front post, and where you have a back post, you do a back post. So front post and then back post, and you're going to repeat. I did a total number of 4 rows, depends on what you like. So if you want it bigger, go for more rows than that. It depends on you. I'll see you once you are done, and I think we'll be done with our cardigan then. Okay, so this is what we have. I did a total number of 4 rows for the ribbing. If you like to get it bigger, do more rows. Okay, so thank you so much, guys, for watching. I hope you like the cardigan. I can't wait to see your recreations. Please share with me on my social media. It's AC Crochets on all platforms. That's Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. And yeah, thank you for watching. Please remember to subscribe in case you haven't subscribed, share, and leave a like. And let me know if you liked the tutorial. Otherwise, I'll see you in the next one. Bye.